Hello, my name is ANDRIANNA with Matric number BP221100203. Today I will be going to present about my individual assignment for approaches to language teaching. Moving on to the next slide, I'm going to present about my introduction. Theory of language can be referred as a psycholinguistic, cognitive, social instructions, and behavioral theory. Meanwhile, as for the theory of language learning, it can be defined as a process of learning a new language. Numerous researchers and scholars from various centuries have conducted research to learn how people acquire and develop the language skill. Now I'm going to present about the main point of this assignment, which is theory of language. I have three theories, which is structuralisms, functionalisms, and interactionisms. Now let's move on to the first point, which is structuralisms. Structuralisms can be known as a linguistic theory that focusing on the context of language. It also can be referred as a systematic study and analysis of the structure, patterns, and rules of certain language. According to Richard and Roger, structuralism is the first theory of language, which are the view of language is a system of structural related elements for the coding of the meaning. About how structuralism have influenced the development of certain language teaching approach or method, we can look at the grammar translation method. This method has been influenced by the structuralism, where it was widely used in the past, that mainly focusing on the structural view of language. This method rely on the structural understanding of language and explicit teaching of grammar rules. Now let's move on to the next point, which is the functionalisms, that can be referred as a view of functional meaning in the context of communications and how the language is used in the real-life situation. This theory emphasizes that language teaching content are categorized of meaning and functional rather than element of structure and grammar rule. The functionalism have influenced the development of certain language teaching approaches or method, which is task-based language teaching, and the second one is the communicative language teaching, and the last one is the content-based instructions. Now let's move on to the third point, which is interactionisms. It can be referred as the realizations and interpersonal relations of the social interaction between individuals. According to Richards and Roger, language is viewed as a tool for establishing and maintaining a social relationship. How this interactionism can be influenced the development of certain language teaching approach or method can be looked into the cooperative learning. Now let's move on to the second part, which is theory of language learning. The first point is behaviorisms. This theory explains that humans have a different way of learning. The researcher analyzed the human behavior depending on the crucial element, which is stimulus, and reinforcement, which is the response. How behaviorisms can be influenced the development of certain language teaching approach can be looked into the audio-lingual method and direct method. The second one is the humanisms. According to humanisms, learning refers to approaches that prioritize development of human values such as self-awareness, understanding feelings and emotion of other persons, and actively engage in learning process. A learner-centered approach that emphasizes personal experience, motivation, and self-direction learning is one of the points of humanisms. How humanisms have influenced the development of certain language teaching approach or method can be looked into the learner-centered approaches and learner autonomy and language learning concept. The last point is constructivism, which is the theory that focuses on learner actively construct knowledge and meaning through their experience and interaction with other people. Basically, it can be referred to the knowledge is socially constructed rather than received or discovered. Constructivism have influenced the development of certain language teaching approach or method in the inquiry-based learning approaches and authentic and contextual learning experience. In conclusion, the study and research about theory of language and theory of language learning provide an important insight and information that can be used for language acquisitions. Both theory are important aspects that both educators and learners need to acknowledge and know in order to have a clear understanding in the learning process. That's all for my presentation today. Thank you.